Good morning. This is day 3 of Eurostar here in Edinburgh, and we're having a lovely time. A pleasure to be joined by Chris Armstrong. And I was telling you, Chris, I don't know how to introduce you. Are you a quality evangelist? Are you a guru? Are you an influencer? And there's so many facets to you. Please, if you want to introduce yourself to the audience in your own words.
Yes, when Leandro asked me what he wanted to be, I just said I'd be an all-round good egg. My main thing probably is just I'm an explorer.
Okay.
I explore things I'm passionate about, exciting places, relationships, software, testing, ways to work with people, ways to improve. I don't sit still very well, so this is a challenge. But it's momentum, passion, investigation, exploration. That's kind of what I'm interested in and passionate about.
Amazing, amazing. Was testing always your path, or did you fall into testing like many people do?
I fell into it completely. I was studying politics, and my parents took the nice move to move whilst I was at university to a new town, and that town was where a computer game company was. So they said, I came home in the summer, they said get a job. It was pub or test computer games.
Right.
Computer games is more fun, right?
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
but it started there.
Yes.
Very different to today.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh, yeah. Are you very happy about your journey and how it went about? Would you have liked to do something differently? I don't know if there's advice to your younger self that you would have liked to give yourself.
I think I would wish that I was a bit bolder,
Okay.
a bit sooner.
Okay.
I'm very happy with where I am now
Yes.
and the explorations and things we're doing now, and all of those are consequences of what we've done beforehand. But I think I was quite timid, quite young, and I call it a quality shift,
Yes.
where there is a moment when my approach to something and a quality mindset has changed permanently. It's like a proper shift from something, and those moments I think often were bubbling up for a long time. I just wish some of those I'd decided on sooner.
Yes. Interesting. And when did the community side start in your life, Chris? It's such a huge part of you now.
Yeah, I mean, I first really understood the community through Twitter. Rest in peace. Maybe 2012, 2013, came to my first Eurostar 2013, and I started to meet these famous people from Twitter, and initially thought, this is cool,
Yes.
I'd like it. Then I had a step back. I had an application to speak, thinking I could speak, I had good ideas. It was rejected, didn't actually take feedback well. I don't think feedback was given well.
Okay.
And I stepped back for a couple of years. I changed the role into a senior role into a new company, and I felt almost obliged to open this world up to my team and other members in the company about how much broader testing is. It doesn't matter that we're not all web testers. Yeah, I was working for a high-precision oscilloscope company, and a lot of what we could see online about automation was just web. And I said, I come from a world where I've been testing RF and IoT, and that's a totally different space. But actually, abstract the tooling, the end use stuff, and there's loads of accessible stories, and in fact, in life, soon enough, you can abstract anything and learn from it. And I showed my team, I started to blog, and then in around November 2018 was when I started testing peers. But that's a longer story.
Yes. Now you segued into testing peers nicely, because that was going to be one of my questions. It's quite a movement, and you've put so much into it and made it an amazingly accessible platform. Did that just come about, while in conversation with some of your colleagues, or how did it all start actually?
Well, the group started because I was in a position of leadership as a tester, and I had no peer in testing
Yes.
within my organisation. And we see throughout history, if there are people in leadership with no accountability, known accountability, you can get away with whatever, you're not growing, you're not challenged. It's a very, very dangerous and I believe unsustainable position to be in. And so I reached out to some folks that I knew were probably encountering a very similar scenario in their own workplaces and said, I don't know what this will be, but I know I need people that I can spend some time with. There's in some places there's opportunities to, they call them accountability triplets. So you work in a small group, you meet with each other maybe weekly, and you just hold each other accountable, you help each other grow, iron sharpens iron, all that sort of stuff. And I felt like I can't grow, I can't be sustained, I can't be challenged, I can't go to my boss if I'm not sure of something because he doesn't understand my context. It's a different background, he was an engineering academic guy. And so these people, they accepted like the invitation without knowing what it was going to be. And quite quickly we moved into a Slack workspace, and some of us started to discuss more and more. We would support each other going through like speaking in a conference or organising meetups. And Simon, who's one of the guys in the group, he's very passionate about bringing testing to the fore in the academic space, so like computer science degrees and things. And so we would start collaborating on little side projects and things. Again, not really knowing what we were doing. Then, but we were enjoying having relationship and community, even as a relatively small group. And then pandemic started, and we didn't have a social life. So we decided to have a social life online. Simon, again, kept saying, we should do a podcast. And we said, look, talking is fun between friends, but who would listen? And he said, well, if it's only your mum that listens, we've had a nice conversation, we've had a social life, and we sort of said, right, well, we're testing leaders. We all feel like testing agility, leadership are things that aren't talked about in that sort of space as much in the world. We didn't want to step on toes of other people. We wanted to just be authentically ourselves. And so we just said, well, let's pick a topic. Let's chat about it. I remember Dan Ashby did testing in the pub, and that was him and Steve Janaway would just be like, having conversations. Said, what if we recorded it? Maybe there's some useful what are they called? The Jerry Weinberg's Fieldstones. Like you capture these little moments, and then you almost catalogue a bunch of really interesting thoughts and things, and you can come back to. And so we committed to podcasting initially, just the four of us. Again, not knowing what we were doing. But in the meantime, we started to connect with other brilliant, amazing humans who weren't also white, middle-class British men, which is quite useful because we talk about the value of diversity and in terms of thought and background and academics and stuff. And we can only be who we are, and we can't apologise for that. But we can change, we can include, we can be a part of that. And quite soon on, we probably thought, wouldn't it be fun, given how much we enjoy events like Eurostar, like test bashes, Hustefs, things like this. Maybe we could do our own event. And we were just thinking, like some of us have organised meetups and things in our own, because none of us are local to each other. And we thought, well, it'd be to get together somehow, and we were like, oh, let's call it PeersCon, because it's like a really exciting convention or something. And we talked about it for probably 2 years just as a joke. And then for my birthday, we got together, went to a theme park like the children that we are, and we said, let's just do it. And we gave ourselves 5 months to go end to end to create a conference. And the whole aim of the conference was, events are amazing, but events are expensive. And I think the barrier to entry is really high. Like this is a wonderful event, but many companies will not pay the money to attend. And I think for a lot of people, they won't ever get the bug that bites them to come to events. And we thought, well, even if we only had people that we know come and speak, we know amazing speakers. And we thought, we'll just ask people and see if they would do it. And we operate completely as not for profit. We publish our numbers, and ask people for pay to speak to start with, but thankfully, in two years of operating, we've been able to pay the speakers after when we've managed to turn a profit, thankfully, thanks to sponsors. And we've managed to make the event something that is a safe space for people to encounter good testing thought, introduce some amazing speakers into people's worlds. Like, you see someone on a stage is nothing like on a webinar or reading something. It's a bit more electric connection, and some of those people, they come to life, and you learn more. I love seeing passionate people talking about what they're passionate about, and doing that on stage is beautiful. And then we've had the pleasure of also having people speak who had never spoken on a stage before. We've been like their first stage, and it's quite a big stage for a small little group of people who don't know what we're doing. Amazing stage, wonderful venue for these things. And we've also this year introduced video applications, because I don't know about you, but writing an abstract, not fun, not easy, and actually doesn't tell me how you, as a passionate person, could talk about that subject that you're passionate about. So we said, well, have a video, tell me what you want to talk about. And that's more accessible for people. Like, there's some beautiful people out there who are dyslexic, struggle with those things, find it hard to fit into these things. Just tell me what you want to talk about. If it sounds interesting, you come and speak with us. And it's about collaboration, it's about equality, like peers. We are peers in testing. Once again, Simon is to blame for the name. He's done a lot of things, and it works. Like, there's no body in charge. There's no financial motivators. We're not deviating from that. We're just here, leaders in testing who are supporting each other to do better, hopefully.
Amazing. Yeah. What an inspirational story, because I'm part of a similar meetup group. It gives me so much inspiration just to hear this journey, Chris. And you've been with Eurostar conference for many years, and perhaps other conferences. What do you notice in these conferences? What really catches your eye? What are your top highlights in any conference?
The people, always. Yes, beautiful cities, new places to explore, wonderful events, amazing ideas. Like, I always come away from a conference with like a couple of just earworms. They never leave my brain, and I have to go and share those things with people. But it's always the people. I've met more amazing humans at testing conferences than any other place, any other instance, any other thing in my life. And testers are people that I love, and we're all so different, and yet we're all the same. And and you can have some wonderful conversations. You've got unlimited coffee, which is perfect, and we're all helping to shape our industry together. We're not being dictated to. None of the talks I personally hate talks that are just dictating ones. But when people are sharing, like I said, it's the connection sort of thing, right? Like, in COVID times, when it was just online, it was making the best of a situation that wasn't so easy. You remember when you were on the program committee with the online one. But when you've got people to connect with, even when it's a speaker, you can have that sort of interaction, that feeling that you're going down the right line. You can go and pick up a topic with somebody later. Everyone's very approachable. And it's just like, it's a time to sort of invest without distraction, which you can't do any other way. Virtual conferences, I was still getting pings up over in the corner, and so it's focus time. And for people on the spectrum, we find it hard to focus on things, but when you're in a place like this where there's options and you can focus on people, it's beautiful.
Amazing, gosh. And I really hope those who are listening to this really take that part away with them. It is so important to keep this kind of interaction and the collaboration going for us to become something interesting, quirky, whatever we become. I think it'll be great. Brilliant. I'll come to a little bit to the conference and what you're going to talk about in this edition, Chris. Yeah. Do you want to say a few words, please, about your talk that's coming up tomorrow? So,
the talk's called The Pursuit of Failure. It is a little bit biographical, as a lot of talks are. I talk about myself, my journey from coming into testing very much as my job is to point at things and say that's rubbish, and this is a failure, and you've done a bad job. Also, I was working in a place where I didn't actually have a human interaction with the people whose work I was appraising, because we were in a different building with different break times. We were segregated explicitly, and that was very much what I thought testing was. And I thought, actually, you come into testing to start in software, and you eventually navigate your path into a different craft on your way. And then I had moments, like I said, I had the quality shifts and things like this, moments that drew me in to present opportunities to say yes to things. And in pursuing lots of failures, changing my mindset from saying, this is rubbish, this is awful, this is terrible, I wasn't getting invited to the table that we want to be at to shape the quality of our products. Because nobody wants to speak to somebody that's always going, no, awful. They think they know what you're going to say. They don't really appreciate your work beyond, you're just going to tell me it's rubbish. I don't like talking to you. But there's so much more to quality and testing than just finding what is wrong. It's also, where's the opportunity to learn, to improve, to shape things better, appreciate, learn holistically, all these other bits and bobs that I didn't know or appreciate to start with. And so I give a couple of examples in the story of moments where I've experienced something that was very negative, but my decision was either to accept it and feel salty about it for a long time, or to approach directly, discuss with another human, and then improve the relationship. And all of those things are ways that we as testers can approach stuff. It's opportunity comes when you bring stuff to the table. I used to hate that my boss said, I don't want problems, I want solutions, because it felt dismissive. But actually, if all you ever do in conversations, like in a retrospective, is just go, this is rubbish, this is bad, this is terrible, and you don't have that, what can we do more, probably nothing's going to happen. And everyone's going to be frustrated that the actions that we have listed never get action, because it's just been negative, 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 negative. So it's like, you need that balance of both. You need a problem statement, but you need the solution to that problem statement. And it's all about find it, push on.
Yeah. Honestly, Chris, so much insight from everything you've spoken so far. I'm really looking forward to your talk tomorrow, and not make you speak anything further on the topic in case you give away some of that. So, moving on to perhaps a little bit about AI, because this conference is kind of centered around the topic. What's your own take, Chris, on where we are headed? I think as an industry, it can be beyond the quality engineering space. What's your own stance about AI? Are you more hopeful? Are you kind of more concerned, or somewhere in between?
I'm cautiously optimistic. There's a lot of really cool stuff, but there's a lot of unknown things. And I use the sort of description of how my children are now consuming what they believe are facts being presented to them as a way to illustrate the dangers. Because I have a child, they watch a YouTube short and they come and tell me a fact that they've just learned, and you go, well, where's that from? Do you know what the answer to that is? Do you understand the context behind those things? Because it's not just the headline that's been presented as fact. It's so much more. And my concerns with AI is the confidence with which it delivers facts to you. And there's false positives and all of these things that can be presented. And I think if we become masters of prompting, masters of analysis, of understanding, better working with it, I think the possibilities are kind of endless. But if you look at the movie like WALL-E, where the machines make their life a lot easier, if the humans don't do anything and sort of take over, then you think, well, that could happen because people will get lazy. I don't need to write anything anymore. I don't need to, do the hard graft anymore because I can just put it into ChatGPT. Even though the stuff it can output could be complete and utter trash, and it does. So then, what's the point in reading? Because now everything's just been generated, and it's like we need that balance, and we need to find a way for certainly the next generation as well as ourselves to be able to interact with AI in a way that benefits us, benefits society, without making us more stupid because we don't have to do stuff. Because that would be my greatest desire, is to help my children realise that knowing things is always going to be more exciting than just saying I can just make that thing do it for me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, fantastic. Thanks so much, Chris. In a connected sense, what do you think testers, quality engineers of future will need to have as essential skills? Like that, it might be a very different world, a way of technology. What's your view on what do we need to hold on to, or what do we need to develop more of?
In some ways, it's more of the same. It's inquisitiveness. It's curiosity. It's critical thinking. It's restlessness. Not settling. There's the Vince Lombardi quote, who sort of, I'll paraphrase because I can't remember it all, but he says, we can't attain perfection, but on our way we can catch excellence because we're iterating, we're improving. And I think testers are naturally looking to improve always, understand the bigger picture, understand the end user, understand how everything pieces together. And as long as we're always seeking to learn, getting feedback quickly from people to make sure that we're doing the right thing, we're in the right direction, we understand things, asking questions, those things are true regardless of tech stack, regardless of what tool you're working on. And I think as long as we always maintain those key attributes as testers, we will be solid.
Fantastic.
Just don't be complacent.
That's a fantastic message. Chris, thank you so much. It's been brilliant talking to you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and all the very best for your talk tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I could sit